Hi, this is Margo. This is Sunday, late afternoon, April the 25th, 2021. I hope everyone is safe and doing as well as possible. I'd like to welcome you all to the show today. This will be my weekly update that I will be putting on YouTube, and I did a couple of extra short videos and put them up during the week on YouTube on ozone and one on the space weather, so we're going to follow up on those as well. Now on CAMS they haven't released any new data since Wednesday, so I'll show that since that's the latest data, but we do have NOAA data for yesterday the 24th, so I can do my weekly update on that. So we're going to start with this, the NOAA data. This is for the 477/469 millibar reading. This is the Met-1 satellite in the morning on April 24th. The mean or average was 1910 parts per billion, so that's getting on up there. The high reading was 2430. In the afternoon, the mean was 1906. The high reading was 2349. On the Met-2 satellite in the morning, the mean was 1886. The high reading was 2604. So this high reading is up there. Normally we don't see it that high on this satellite. And in the afternoon, the mean was 1885 and the high reading was 2391. Here's the spreadsheet and chart that we're looking at every week. So here's the data for the 24th. And it averages out to 1896.75 parts per billion. So that's an increase over last Saturday of 0.5. So we're still going up over here on our blue line. It just went up and just nudged up this week. So overall we've gone up, except for the week of March 13th, we've gone up since what is this, February 29th. We've gone up every week. Well, since the end of January, we've just gone down 2 weeks, but we've gone up every week since the end of January, except for 2 weeks. So that's not good. And you can see that 1896, we didn't have that till late in the year last year. Let's look back. 1896, it was in August. And here a year ago, we've increased over the last year 22.25 parts per billion. I started tracking this on a daily basis in February of last year, so I've got that data. And since March the 1st of 2019, when I first started tracking this, we've gone up 39.5 parts per billion. So we're really off the charts. We're in no man's land. Nobody knows what to think and how things are going to happen with the heating. And it's in the Arctic. It's mainly in the Arctic right now, but with that, you just don't know. And there's so much methane stored in the sediments there that with with the sea ice melting so fast and everything. I mean, it's just coming up. What can I say? So let's look at what methane did this week. So here we were for when I did my report last Sunday. For Saturday, it was 1896.25. Then on Sunday, it went down 0.25. On Monday, it went up 1.75. On Tuesday, it went down 0.75. On Wednesday, it went up 0.75. Thursday, it went down 1.25. Friday, it went down 1.75. And then Saturday, it had a pretty sharp increase of 2 parts per billion. That's what we saw there. So it brought it back up to being 0.5 degrees or ppb increase over last Saturday. So it's just hovering around 1896 all week. And I can show you last year, April 24th of last year, it was 1874.5. And that week, they had a decrease. It went down 3.75. So, in April last year, we were going down. And April of this year, we're going up. But we were late. We did reach our minimum about a month later than the year before. So we could be off because of that. I just don't know. But I'll keep tracking it. So this is the only day that CAMS has methane up for. Now this is Copernicus Atmosphere Monitoring Services. They're out of the EU. Here's their website. So at least they've got that one day up. And I have the Arctic view and surface level pulled up. Here's our color ledger. So the data is for Wednesday, and the forecast period runs Thursday through Sunday. Now when they start releasing the new data, I will be capturing it. Sometimes I'll just do silent movies just to capture the data, and then I'll put that up on my Subscribestar page. And then a week later it goes up on my archives on my website. So if you'd like to see daily updates, I'd love to have you over on Subscribestar. The link is in the description box below, and I cover all kinds of things every day having to do with the climate and earth changes and all kinds of things. So here we still have it billowing up by Comsolomitz Island, and also in the North Kara Sea. It's billowing here on the North Alaska coastline. And it's coming up in the North Sea by England, and on this west side we've got waves moving up. We have our little problem spot here in the North Atlantic that's coming back to life as well. You can see that. Now we'll look at the North Pole view. Someone left a comment from my show last week asking if I could put in markers links so that you could just jump to any section of the video. You know, it's like whatever I do, it's not enough, I guess. You know, if someone else wants to do that and put it in the comments, I can pin that to the top if you want. But usually I'm so tired by the time I get done with these videos and, you know, just recording and getting it ready to go up on YouTube and then getting it uploaded, that one more thing is just like, that'd put me over the edge. I'm sorry, I just can't do that. But if someone else wants to do that and put, you know, leave a comment with the links to the different sections, I will pin that to the top. So, yeah, that would be nice, but, you know, I don't have a staff to do any of this. I do all my own research and all my own recording and editing and uploading, and, you know, I'm a one girl show over here, one woman show. So here we've got it popping back up. Look at this in Europe, and see this yellow wave moving up through the North Atlantic. The Persian Gulf is really filling back up, and it's spilling out over the edges. India's filled up, China. Now we're going to see this going back to dark all the way through. Right now it's a little bit splotchy, so it's not just totally filled up, but it's still really high. And same thing over here in the US, and because they've had a lot of rain, and so whenever it rains, then the methane just comes up black looking, just long areas filled in with the blackish reddish color. Here's the global view. I have felt off for the last 2 or 3 days. I think it was that solar storm coming in, and I didn't sleep night before last. I was up and I just couldn't sleep. And then I went to sleep around 4:30 in the morning and slept until around 10. And then the solar tsunami came in early. Originally they thought it was going to hit today, but it came in yesterday late afternoon Pacific time, so it would have been a little later for the East Coast. I'll show all that. So here we are globally. See, New Zealand's filling back up. We're seeing more of this dark blue come further south. This is a sign that methane is rising worldwide. I mean, it's redistributing here too. This dark blue is 1800 parts per billion. This light purplish color that we're seeing, that we have been seeing over most of the southern hemisphere over the water, not over, and over the Antarctic is 1780, but this, see, we're seeing darker blue, that's 1800. The next color up, this light blue, is 1820. This next color up, this more aqua, is 1840. So we'll see those colors creeping further south as things start heating up. I have no idea what methane is going to look like this summer. It just depends on how things heat up. Okay, here's 500 HPA. This is corresponds to the same, almost the same level that we're looking at on NOAA. So we can see this highest part, this dark cloud over China and coming down to Japan here. And we've got red across the Arctic. And see the green is coming further south as it's spreading out and redistributing. Here's total column. Again, look at this heavy area over China and Japan, and then over here in southern Asia. So there's that. Next, I want to go over these pictures that I took. This is sulfur dioxide today from CAMS. And remember, there had been a volcano going off here on St. Vincent Island in the Caribbean, and it's pretty much calmed down, but this cloud, the sulfur dioxide cloud, is still hanging around, and it streamed out across the Atlantic, across Africa, all the way to India and China. This is what's left of it at 500 HPA, and so so that's calmed down, but you can see the remnants hang around a long time. Now, we've been having new sulfur dioxide releases here in South America and on this west coast of South America with the plate movement and volcanoes going off. And here's from Popocatépetl in Mexico, and here we have high releases in Hawaii today as well. Here's the ozone reading for today from CAMS. This is the global view, and we can see the hole down here. It has opened up. It opened up yesterday over the northern part of the Antarctic. Here's the Antarctic view, and here's what it looked like at the beginning of today. And so it's covering the land there, and that bluish purple is 200 Dobson units, 200 to 220. The aqua is 220 Dobson units. But once you get down to this bluish purple, this is in the danger zone. That's why they've got the big thick line around it. That's all of those pictures. Now I want to go over ozone here on CAMS today. So I want to show you yesterday. Let's go down to the Antarctic. Now, I think it was on Friday, it had briefly opened up in the ocean there. And this is the Atlantic. And Africa's right up here. Here's South America. So this is north, south, east, and west. Here's this western peninsula. Down here's the Ross Ice Shelf. So we're looking at this northern area. So as of yesterday morning, the hole had not opened up over the landmass yet. There it goes. But opens up later in the day. And so there's the forecast with Sunday, Monday, and then it closes back up by Tuesday. That's how it looked yesterday. So it did open up at the end of yesterday. So here we are today. Here's where we started out with. It opened up. So let's see what it's going to look like the next few days. See, it's morphing to the south. So there it is tomorrow. It's still there. So it closes up on Tuesday. But see the aqua and the green. It's still quite thin all the way to the South Pole, to the center. And see the green. And so anything that's less than the solid yellow is thinner than normal. Average is considered 300 Dobson units, which is the solid yellow color. And then when you go to the left of that, we're seeing the greens. So it's quite thin. And Larry had asked when the hole opened up last year, and I looked back through my archives and I saw that it had opened up June the 16th. And it's in my Subscribestar archives on my website. But then it just kept getting worse and worse and worse, and it was black, and even there was a part of one day it went into white, which was lower than the black. It was lower than 100 Dobson units. See the black there? So it's not good. It's not good for it to be opening up this early. And so, if you see articles saying, oh, we've closed up the ozone hole and it's cured and healed up and it's all been fixed, that's not true. It has not been fixed. And it's, the ozone is getting worse, in fact. So I just wanted to show everyone that. Now, okay, so I can close that. Now, let's move on to our sea ice portion of the show. So I took these pictures from Climate Reanalyzer this week. Why do I not have the 25th up? I forgot to get the 25th up. Well, we'll look at it on the website. I forgot what day it was on. So, here we are on Sea Ice and Snow Cover from Climate Reanalyzer. So we'll just click through and you're not going to see a lot of change up here yet. It hasn't started melting dramatically, and the extent just went down just a tiny bit this week, so we're not going to notice a lot of change on these pictures yet. You will when we get into high melt, and so but I just like to show these just as a reference point. So here we are on the show from last Sunday on the 18th. Here's what it looked like. So we'll just go through. Here's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So we're seeing it retreat here in this North Atlantic and in the Barents Sea. Here's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and so we are noticing retreat on the ice extent up through here. It's also starting to retreat some in the Baffin Bay, and this Canadian coastline is melting, and you'll see that it's starting to melt in the Hudson Bay, and you'll see some differences up when we look at NASA Worldview 2. Now here are the images from the U.S. Navy website. This is their model for sea ice thickness. This is the Arctic. This is for yesterday. That's the most recent data that they have up. So here's Greenland, Canada, Alaska, here's Russia up on the top, and then Norway over here. Here's Novaya Zemlya, here's Svalbard, here's Iceland down here. This is Franz Josef Land, Severnaya Zemlya. Right here at Komsolomenth Island, right around there, is where we've been seeing the methane billowing up on cams. Here's the New Siberian Islands, and this area from basically Taimyr Peninsula all the way across this East Siberia Arctic Sea. This area is the East Siberia Arctic Shelf, where the very high methane stores are, that's being held down by the permafrost in the sediment. Now we can see it's opening up around some of these coastlines. See the light purple? That's almost no thickness there. The bright aqua is about 2 meters thick. The green is about 3 meters thick. So this is what was left of the thickest sea ice, and it has been moving down during the winter from Canada. It's been sliding down and compressing now, so it's mostly compressed here in the Beaufort Sea. And it's getting a little bit thicker. It looks like more greens there, but we have very little reds and dark reds, which are the dark reddish brown to black looking is 5 meters thick, and we have just so little of that, so we're just not in good shape going into this melt season. Here's the Hudson Bay. You can see the changes around the coastline, and it's shifting a lot here in the center as well. So let's look at, here's the 30-day animation. It goes back 3 weeks and goes forward to May 1st. The forecast goes out from the 24th to May 1st. the other days, 3 weeks back, are data. So let's see see what's happening here. Now look down here. We will look at this Baffin, at the Beaufort Sea in a little more detail, but right now it looks like we can see it thickening, and then in the forecast period it's starting to thin, and it's really starting, you'll see it's starting to open up there. So we're not seeing a lot of change here. It's just floating and kind of maintaining until the high melt starts. So here's the Baffin. Why do I keep saying Baffin Bay? This is the Beaufort Sea. So Canada is on the right. We can see the thickest ice, just a little skim right here on this coastline. It's so sad. It's just in a little bit of thicker ice down here on the Alaska coastline. And this is what's left of the thickest sea ice, and it's 3 meters, and the dark green is not even 3 meters. It's under that. It's about 2.75. And then when it moves into the light green, up towards the yellow, that's 3.5, like this color. This color here. Here's the 30-day animation. So it goes back 3 weeks and forecasts out a week from now to the 2nd. We can see a hole is starting to open up here. See the dark blue? That's a lot thinner there. And you can see the lighter colors. That's where it's starting to open up. The leads are opening. So it's coming apart as the ice is moving. And it is thinning in this forecast period. It's breaking up, and this is not going to be a good year for sea ice. Here's the lead area opening rate. Now these lines, that's the cracks, the long cracks in the ice that we see. And so their model shows where the leads are opening up. So here's where they're opening up today. Now watch this. Here's the 30-day animation. So this has been really active, and it's going to be active this week. I wanted to show you that. Uh-oh, I hit the wrong thing. So Okay, here it is next Sunday. This is where it's going to be. So pretty quiet on the openings there. But look at this. A lot of opening on the first. Look at this down here by the coastline. Look at this. Look at this. Looks like a weird painting. A Picasso. Here we are today. So here it goes. Oh, I did that again. Why did I do that? I wanted to show it today. Okay. I have to remember to hit these plus and minus buttons down here. So here we go. Here's tomorrow. So we got a big long crack coming all the way down along the Alaska coastline. So that'll be pulling the ice away. And then looks like mayhem along the coastline there on the 27th. Here's the 28th. More mayhem. It's the 29th and the 30th. And May 1st. And then it's calm on the 2nd. Now this is the ice drift. So this shows the direction that the ice is moving and the speed. And so along the coastline here, this dark aqua is no movement, and then it goes up in the chart here up to, this is 30 centimeters per second, this reddish, dark red. So this is what it's doing today. Here's the 30-day animation, so we can get an idea of how the ice is being tossed around up there. So let's see what it's going to do this week. Here it is today. Look at this, so a lot of movement tomorrow. That's why we saw those leads opening up. Look at this, just swooping up north. Look at this, even faster on the 27th. That will be tearing it apart. Here's the 28th, the same direction, but it's slowing down. Here's the 29th, slower, and 30th. Now we still have high action down here on the coastline. And then it's calmer on the 1st and calmer on the 2nd. And then so the cycle is starting over again. Now we're looking at the Baffin Bay. This is sea ice thickness, and the chart is different for the Baffin Bay than the Arctic view. And this dark reddish blackish color is 2 meters thick instead of 5 meters thick. So we've got some 2 meter thick ice here in these cubby holes. And like the aqua is 0.8 meters thick. So this is not very thick in this Baffin Bay. Here's the 30-day animation. Now the Navy just started this model in February of this year. So this is new where we can see this. And it only goes up about halfway in the Baffin Bay. This area where it's white, there's no ice here. You know, we can see in the forecast period it's really starting to thin out, and and it's pulling away from the coastlines. Here is sea surface temperature for the Baffin Bay, and this dark reddish blackish color is 4C. See down here, and here's where it's frozen, and it has to be about -2C in order for it to freeze, because this is salt water. Here's the 30-day animation. And so we can see in the forecast period the colors are really moving in to the coastline, showing that this ice will be melting because they're heating up. The colors, it's heating up there, so that ice will be melting. Now here's the Antarctic. This is sea ice thickness for yesterday. We can see the refreeze here. We can see this. Here's the Ross Sea. It's all filled in, and then around this western side, we've got a little bit of thicker ice here building up on this west side. Here's the western peninsula. This is the Weddell Sea. This is filled in pretty good, and we've got this line of aqua thicker ice coming along the Larsen ice shelves, coming down, and see around the coastline it's starting to thicken up a little bit. And it's building out gradually. Here's the 30-day animation. Now it looks like something happened here on this west side. It started out thicker, and then it's kind of just diminishing. Maybe it's just kind of spreading out. I'm not sure what's happened to that ice. But it's not as thick. And that's all of those images. Now we'll move on to National Snow and Ice Data Center. This is Sea Ice Index for the Arctic. I have the blue marble view chosen, and concentration. This is daily. You can do daily or monthly here. And so this corresponds to what we saw on the Navy images too. The blue, the darker blue it is, the more it's coming apart and melting. It's less concentrated. They've changed this. So we can't view the image when I right click. I used to be able to do that. Anyway, that's as big as we can get it. So this week, this blue line, this is this year, has gone down. So it's still it's retreating, and this was 2012 to 2013. And so we're at the lowest still for this time of year. And this gray line is the median, or the average, from 1981 to 2010. Here's the Antarctic, and you can see it's not very thick, but the extent is coming back there. And same thing here. I can't zoom in on this. So the blue line is this year. We can see it started refreezing earlier than normal back in February, or 1st of March, into February, 1st of March. But now it's kind of leveling off, and it looks like it's going to catch up with or level off to the average. And this dark grayish green line was last year, 2020. So it was low last year. So there's that. Now we'll look at Climate Reanalyzer before we go over to NASA Worldview. Here are the maximum temperatures for today. We can see the Arctic's warming up. This aqua is 0. This, like this color right here on the edge, that's 0. This is air temperature. And we've got cold air coming down through Canada and down into Russia and so on, because we don't have a jet stream anymore. So that cold air just goes where it wants. Here's 2-meter temperature anomaly. Today we've got a red spot here over the Chukchi Sea, a lot of browns over the Arctic Ocean here. We've got reds and browns over Greenland and Baffin Bay and over northern Canada. Then we've got colder air right next to it from Canada coming all the way down into Texas, and on the west side through California. And we've got cold air through Russia, and see it's spreading out all the way down here from Norway across. The Antarctic, we've got some warmer air right next to the much colder air. So this sets up for weather chaos. So the Arctic is up 3.5 C, warmer than normal today. I think yesterday was 4 C. It was up to 4 C, warmer than normal. Northern Hemisphere is up 0.6 C. Worldwide, we're up 0.2 C. Tropics are up 0.3 C. The Southern Hemisphere is down 0.2 C. And the Antarctic is down 2.6 C, lower than normal. Here's precipitation and clouds for today. And so we've got rain coming further north here. It's raining next to Iceland, and also on the southern tip of Greenland we have rain. And so that's not good for the ice sheet or the glaciers there, but that's what we've got. Here's this big rainstorm that has moved across the country here. Here's the flat view. Here's the jet stream, if you want to call it that. Look at this. This is just chaotic. It's worse every day. Look, it's got like 3 or 4 lines down here in the southern hemisphere, and I can't make any sense out of this in the northern hemisphere. And see, look at it going down through Africa. Normally we don't see it that far south. Here's sea ice and snow cover today. And sea surface temperature anomaly. This is as of Wednesday, so they're late on updating this as well. We can see it's starting to heat up here in the North Atlantic and the Beaufort Sea. We're already getting some reds up here. We're getting reds and browns here in the Baffin Bay. Here is this is where that problem spot is with the methane in the North Atlantic, and so this is already up into the reds and pinks, and this light pink is 6C, higher than normal. And we've got this band of warmer water. Did I say air? Anyway, warmer water across the Atlantic there. We've got red down here off the coast of South America and on the west coast of Africa, and we've got red over here between Korea and Japan, and then in the Pacific. So here we have worldwide, we're at 0.3C, higher than normal. The North Atlantic is at 0.6C. Northern Hemisphere is at 0.5C. North Pacific is at 0.4C. Southern Hemisphere is at 0.3C. And Equatorial Pacific is equal. It's in balance. So that's what we've got there. Now we'll tour through NASA Worldview. Here's the Arctic for today. This is, I've got the sea ice concentration level turned on, so we can see these colors. Where you see a lot of colors, it's melting. Generally, that's what it means now. So here in the Hudson Bay, we can see where it's starting to melt and come apart. Here in the middle, and on the west coast and the east coast. And down here. And this, I don't know the name of this little bay that's got a lot of melting going on. Here's the Baffin Bay. And we've got holes that have opened up here next to Greenland and in the Canadian archipelago. Here on the east side of Greenland, we can see the ice is retreating. It's not down to the southern tip now. It's retreating and getting thinner there. on that east side. Here's Svalbard. We've got a little bit had regrown extent-wise here in the Barents Sea, but now I think it's in the process of melting. Here around Franz Josef Land, we've got a lot of colors, a lot of melting. Here on all these coastlines, you're going to see a lot of melting. We're starting to see quite a bit of melting now here in the Kara Sea, and up here on this edge of Severnaya Zemlya, this is where the Laptev Sea starts, and where you see this crack, this is opened up. The sea ice is opened up here in Chukchi Sea, and then here in the Bering Sea we're going to start seeing a lot of melting there. And we're seeing heavy melting going on now in this Okhotsk Sea off the coast of Russia. So that's what it looks like right now. And we'll turn that layer off and we'll see what the ice looks like. We'll start down here at Greenland, up here on this northwest edge. I don't know why I tend to gravitate here first. And this is the nearest strait, and we're watching as this ice, we're starting to see some openings in the ice here. See, this had been too cloudy or something. We haven't been able to really see the ice here before now. Let's see, I think that's a shadow there. Kennedy Channel, Franklin Island, Kane Basin. So here's where it's opened up. This is open water here. Just a little skim of ice there is what we're seeing. See, open water. See, it's opening up. And here on this west side, see how it's opened up here. Here you can see the pieces of ice there. See, it's really melting in between now, that because it was thin, very thin in between the pieces, the larger pieces, larger, thicker pieces. So those thin areas will melt first. They'll come apart and melt first, and then we'll see the ice pieces floating around. So here's Greenland on the right. We haven't had many clouds yet in what we're looking at today. It's been pretty good. Let's see. So this is the Baffin Bay, and the model on the Navy website goes up to about here, that level. Now there are clouds here. So here's the rain that we saw on Climate Reanalyzer. So that'll be melting the ice sheet. Here's Iceland. It's raining here too. Let's see. Here's this east side of Greenland. See this ice. This is a good view today. Look at this. So here's just north of Greenland. Here's this northeast edge that's opening up. See? So these leads are opening already. See? Now once the sun really gets up and it starts reflecting, it'll be hard to see too much of the ice because it'll be so bright. So see these leads, we have a lot of open water already. See? Where it's dark. That's where they've come apart and it's open water. See? So here's Svalbard. Let's zoom in here. There's a little ice here on this right side. This is opening up. See? Here's Franz Josef Land. Now this is really opening up on this right hand side here. We're looking through some clouds and we've got some open water on this left hand side too. It's just easier to say right and left rather than remember that north is to the left here and south is to the right, so that's why I'm saying it like that. Here's Novaya Zemlya, and it's melted. See, there's pretty much nothing. So, but this is the west side, and it's melted along this east coast as well. So that's all opened up. It's opening up north of Novaya Zemlya. Look at that. Here's the Yamal Peninsula, and this is the Kara Sea. See, it's all opening up around these coastlines now. Here's the Gulf of Ob. See, that's melting there. Look, we can see it opening up here. Here's Severnaya Zemlya. Here's Komsolometz Island. So where we see the methane billowing up on cams, right around here, right around this area. And we've got a bunch of clouds. We can't really see the ice here today, but it is opened up. See? Look. Here we go. Here's the Taimyr Peninsula. Here's the Laptev Sea. This is coming apart. See that? Here's a big crack. See, it's opening up. Here's New Siberian Islands. Here is where this big crack has, the big long one has already opened up. See, goes all the way across. That's under a cloud, but it's getting bigger. Goes all the way across there to the Siberian coastline. So here, see, the ice is opening up. So here's the Bering Strait, and we can see it's opening up here on this Russia coastline. And here's Alaska. So here's, see, it's opening up there. So this is, okay, here's the Beaufort Sea. So this is where the thickest sea ice is compressed down all through this area here. So when you see it here, that's what you're looking at. It's quite compressed, but it's starting to open up. And it will. You saw on the Navy model where the leads are opening. Here's some more leads. And here's Ellesmere Island. Then we're back to Greenland there. Let's go back. See what else we can see on this thicker part. Wonder if that's I don't know if that's open or if it's a cloud there. Let's see. We'll turn on sea ice surface temperature. There's no clouds there. So that's probably pretty thin there. Looks like. Here's a big lead. See, coming all the way down. So here's what it looks like. Get a good look, because once the sun comes up, it'll be too bright to really see much, and once it gets cloudy, there are so many cloudy days up here in the summertime. It's hard to make out what it looks like. That's what we've got. This is what we're going into the summer with. So there's that. Now we'll look at some earthquakes. I'll start with the pictures I took. I was very late taking these pictures. I've just not felt well. Not really sick, but not well either. So we got 267 earthquakes worldwide. We had a new one, another large one at Tonga, 6.4. Let's go through these. Here in the lower 48, we're 128 today. Southern California has 27. The largest one was a 2.6 at Indio. Searles Valley Ridgecrest had 13. Western Nevada over to Mammoth Lakes had 12. Here's Lake Tahoe. It's just south of Reno. And there were 17 when I took the picture. I think there's a few more now. But they're right in the center of the lake. And the largest, it all started with this 3.7. It's saying near Dollar Point. That's the reporting station. But this is the state line, this black line through the lake. So Nevada is on the right hand side, California's on the left. So these actually are happening on the California side, but it doesn't really matter. It's pretty much in the center of the lake. 3.7. This came in at 8:33 this morning, my time, Pacific time, and 7.5 kilometers deep. And then all of these have happened since then. So that could be why I'm feeling weird, along with the solar stuff going on. Now here, along the San Andreas fault line from San Francisco down, we've got 8. The largest one was a 3.6 at Morgan Hill. At the geysers, there were 32 today. Here in Northern California, we've got 3 today. A 2.6 at Montgomery, 2.0 at Whitehawk, and a 2.1 at Petrolia. So this 2.6 is up here. Montgomery is just north of Shasta Lake. So just north of Redding and Shasta Lake. Here in the Pacific Northwest over to Yellowstone are 11. The largest one was this 3.5 at Stanley, Idaho. There was a 3.0 at Enoch, Utah, 3.1 kilometers deep. West Texas only had one, a 2.7. And here we're looking at Oklahoma up into Kansas. There were 5 here today. Here's another one in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, a 4.9 at the northern mid-Atlantic ridge. It's on the red line between Africa and this northern part of South America. Puerto Rico showing 8 today. Near this Cocos Plate we have 3. This is off the coast of, looks like Guatemala in South America. 4.3, 4.0, and 4.2. South America had 2 today, a 4.3 and a 3.7. Hawaii had 28. Most of them were down clustered at Pahala. Alaska is showing 91 today, so that's picking up. We had been seeing you know, 40 down to 30 down to 20 in a day, but now it's really picking back up, maybe because the permafrost is starting to thaw out up there. Could be. Here in the South Pacific, we've got 2 near Tonga, a 4.7 at Hihifo, and then there's the 6.4 near Haveluloto, Tonga. That came in at 3:28 this afternoon, 234 kilometers deep. And it was just yesterday or day before there was a 6.5 down here, I think. So this area is still moving. Here in Indonesia up to Mariana Islands, we've got 4. We've got a 5.0, 4.5, 4.5, and 4.5. And then we've got a 4.3 at Merghab, Tajikistan. That's all of the pictures. So if we look at the website, see what else. We had a big one come in, 5.3 at Acari, Peru. So that's new. So we got 4 now here in South America. So we've had 4.2 near San Antonio. De los Cobras, Argentina, that came in too. Let's see, what else? So this west side of the Pacific is open. Let's look at Hawaii. What's going on here? We've got 23 now. So they're clustering down here at Pahala, looks like. 2s, I think they're mainly 2s. 2s and a few 1s. We've still got, what's Alaska up to? 88, so that's gone down. Now we've got a little cluster here. Glen Allen 3.2, so that's a larger one. So we've got 4 at Glen Allen. So we're seeing a lot of clustering, but see these dots filling in. That's how I remember it being when I first started looking at earthquakes. Let's see what's going on at Lake Tahoe. That's not stopping. Look, it's worse. It's more. And we got one on the beach at Kings Beach. We got 20 here now. Look at this. It's not stopping. They're all in California so far. See, it all started here at 8:33 this morning, 3.7, and then 2.8, 2.4, 2.9, 2.5, 1.0, 2.4. So twos, and it looks like they're going down in size, mainly 1s now. And then this last one was a 0.8 near Carnelian Bay, or at Carnelian Bay. That's on the coastline. So something's up there. So that's big news near me, near where I live. We've got movement up here in the Pacific Northwest. See, from up here in Seattle, the Washington area. Got quite a few. Let's see how many. 8 ones. Got ones mainly. Look, Mount St. Helens at .2, right in the crater. .6 at Morton. Where's this? 1.2 at Orting. 1.2 Mirrormont. 1.7 Manchester. It's just west of Seattle. 1.1 Earlands Point, Kitsap Lake. And here's one more. 0.7 at Friday Harbor. That's all of them. And then one here in Oregon. 0.7 at Sisters, Oregon, or near Sisters, Oregon. So there's that. So that's my report for today. I know these go long, but it takes a while to really look at everything, especially when we're looking at the sea ice. And I don't know of anyone else who will show you sea ice the way I do. So I'd like to finish up by continuing to read out of the book of Romans. I'm almost finished with Romans. Written by Paul. Romans chapter 8. There is therefore now no condemnation to them which are in Christ Jesus, who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit. For the law of the Spirit of life in Christ Jesus hath made me free from the law of sin and death. For what the law could not do, in that it was weak through the flesh, God sending his own Son in the likeness of sinful flesh, and for sin condemned sin in the flesh, that the righteousness of the law might be fulfilled in us, who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit. For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the Spirit the things of the Spirit. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Because the carnal mind is enmity against God, for it is not subject to the law of God, neither indeed can be. So then they that are in the flesh cannot please God. But ye are not in the flesh, but in the Spirit, if so be that the Spirit of God dwell in you. Now if any man have not the Spirit of Christ, he is none of his. And if Christ be in you, the body is dead because of sin, but the Spirit is life because of righteousness. But if the Spirit of him that raised up Jesus from the dead dwell in you, he that raised up Christ from the dead shall also quicken your mortal bodies by his Spirit that dwelleth in you. Therefore, brethren, we are debtors, not to the flesh, to live after the flesh. For if we live after the flesh, ye shall die. But if ye through the Spirit do mortify the deeds of the body, ye shall live. For as many as are led by the Spirit of God, they are the sons of God. For ye have not received the spirit of bondage again to fear, but ye have received the Spirit of adoption, whereby we cry, Abba, Father. The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of God, and if children, then heirs, heirs of God, and joint heirs with Christ, if so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. For the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of God. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who hath subjected the same in hope, because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God. For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. And not only they, but ourselves also, which have first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, to wit, the redemption of our body. For we are saved by hope, but hope that is seen is not hope. For what a man seeth, what doth he yet hope for? But if we hope for that we see not, then do we with patience wait for it. Likewise the Spirit also helpeth our infirmities. For we know not what we should pray for as we ought, but the Spirit itself maketh intercession for us with groanings which cannot be uttered. And he that searcheth the hearts knoweth what is the mind of the Spirit, because he maketh intercession for the saints according to the will of God. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose. For whom he did foreknow, he also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of his Son, that he might be the firstborn among many brethren. Moreover, whom he did predestinate, them he also called, and whom he called, them he also justified, and whom he justified, them he also glorified. What shall we then say to these things? If God be for us, who can be against us? He that spared not his own Son, but delivered him up for us all, how shall he not with him also freely give us all things? Who shall lay anything to the charge of God's elect? It is God that justifieth. Who is he that condemneth? It is Christ that died, yea, rather, that is risen again, who is even at the right hand of God, who also maketh intercession for us. Who shall separate us from the love of Christ? Shall tribulation, or distress, or persecution, or famine, or nakedness, or peril, or sword? As it is written, For thy sake we are killed all the day long. We are accounted as sheep for the slaughter. Nay, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him that loved us. For I am persuaded that neither death, nor life, nor angels, nor principalities, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come, nor height, nor depth, nor any other creature shall be able to separate us from the love of God, which is in Christ Jesus our Lord. Romans chapter 8. Amen to that. So nothing can separate us from Christ Jesus if we are one with him, if we have given our lives to him. and repented, and He's with us. Nothing can separate us, no matter what. So I'll go ahead and close out for today. I hope everyone has as good a week as possible, and I will be talking to you real soon. I'm praying for you. If you haven't given your life to Jesus Christ, I recommend you do it while you still have time. I love you all, and I'm praying for you. Until next time, God bless you, go in peace, and we'll talk to you soon. Good night.